Hello, students. Today we are going to study the fifth chapter of Poetics. Let us start. Comedy is, as we have said, an imitation of characters of a lower type. Not, however, in the full sense of the word bad, the ludicrous being merely a subdivision of the ugly. Comedy, as we have said, is an imitation of characters of a lower type. As you remember, in the beginning, he told us that tragedy imitates characters of higher type and comedy imitates the characters of lower type. Not, however, in the full sense of the word bad. So, these characters of a lower type are not exactly bad, they are just funny characters. The ludicrous being merely a subdivision of the ugly. So these characters are ugly. They are ludicrous means which we can laugh at. They are amusing characters, but they are not bad, morally bad. It consists in some defect or ugliness which is not painful or destructive. So in these characters of comedy, there may be some defect or some ugliness means these characters may be ugly or they can be full of defects. They can have physical defects, they can be intellectually weak, but they are not painful or destructive means we don't have get pain in watching them, we don't feel pain, or they are not destructive means they are not harmful. Their ugliness, their defects, they, all these drawbacks are not painful or harmful. To take an obvious example, the comic mask is ugly and distorted but does not imply pain. Here, Aristotle gives an example of comic mask. The actors of comedy, they wear comic mask, and this mask is distorted, means caricatured. It is ugly, but it is not painful. This mask is disfigured, but it is not painful. The successive changes through which tragedy passed and the authors of these changes are well known. Whereas comedy has had no history because it was not at first treated seriously. The successive changes through which tragedy passed. So, in the form of tragedy, there have been many changes and the authors of these changes are well known. So we know who brought those changes in the form of tragedy. Whereas comedy has no history. But we don't know how comedy passed through many changes. Who brought those changes in the form of comedy? We don't know. And what is the reason? Because it was not at first treated seriously. So nobody took comedy seriously. Nobody tried to trace out its history. That's why we don't know how comedy developed or and who brought the changes in the form of comedy. It was late before the Archon granted a comic chorus to a poet. The performers were till then voluntary. It was late before the Archon. Archon is a Greek word which literally means ruler. So we can say the mayor of the city or the ruler. So Archon granted a comic chorus to a poet. So the comic poets were not even given or provided with a chorus. I told you in the fourth chapter that uh, on stage, when in the theater, when tragedy was performed, there was only one actor, and that actor was called chorus. He performed several roles. The roles of all the characters were performed by a single actor. He was called chorus. But this chorus was not provided to comic poets. the comic poets were provided with this chorus after a long time. It was late, means after a long time, the comic poets were provided with a chorus. The performers were till then voluntary. So, the performers of comedy were voluntary. Voluntary are those performers who don't demand any payment. Comedy had already taken definite shape when comic poets distinctly so called are heard of. Means comedy had already come into existence, but we don't know the authors of those comedies. Comedies had existed, their authors must also have existed, but we don't know exactly who wrote which comedy. Comedy had already taken definite shape when comic poets, distinctively so called, are heard of. We don't know the names of comic poets, but comedies had already existed. Who furnished it with masks or prologues or increased the number of actors, these and other similar details remain unknown. Who furnished it with masks? So, who provided comic mask to comedy? Who wrote those prologues or increased the number of actors? Who increased the number of actors in a comedy? You must have remembered in the fourth chapter, Aristotle told us that Aeschylus increased the number of actors to 2 and Sophocles introduced the third actor. But who increased the number of actors in a comedy? We don't know. These and other similar details remain unknown. Means we are not familiar with the authors who increased the number of actors in a comedy. While we know the authors who introduced second and third characters in a tragedy. Aeschylus introduced the second character and Sophocles introduced the third character. As for the plot, it came originally from Sicily. We are familiar that plot of comedy came from Sicily. But of Athenian writers, Crates was the first who, abandoning the iambic or lampooning form, generalized his themes and plots. And when we talk of Athenian authors, Crates is the first comedian, according to Aristotle, who abandon means to give up, who gave up iambic or lampooning form, means who just gave up making fun of others. So, lampooning form, in lampooning verse, people made fun of each other. So, that form was given up by Crates. And he gave his themes and plots the name of comedy. He gave them the form of comic drama. Epic poetry agrees with tragedy insofar as it is an imitation in verse of characters of a higher type. So, there is this similarity between epic and tragedy, that both of them imitate characters of a higher type. In epic poetry as well as in tragedy, there are characters of a higher type. They differ in that epic poetry admits but one kind of meter and is narrative in form. But there is this difference between epic and tragedy. And what is the difference? That epic poetry has only 1 meter and it is narrative in form. Narrative means it can be narrated but it cannot be performed on stage. A tragedy can be performed on stage, but an epic, it can only be narrated. They differ again in their length. So, one more difference, next difference between an epic and tragedy is their length. For tragedy endeavors as far as possible to confine itself to a single revolution of the sun, but slightly to exceed this limit, whereas the epic action has no limits of time. So the difference of length is the another one. For tragedy endeavors means tragedy tries, tragedy attempts as far as possible to confine itself means to limit itself. Tragedy tries to limit itself to a single revolution of the sun. So, astronomy was at that time theocentric, and it was supposed that the sun revolves round the earth. And this revolution of the sun was a day. To confine itself to a single revolution of the sun means the action of tragedy is limited to a single day, or but slightly to exceed this limit, or a little bit more than that, a day or a bit more than a day. Whereas the epic action has no limits of time, while in epic there is no limit of time. The action of epic is unlimited. This then is a second point of difference, though at first the same freedom was admitted in tragedy as in epic poetry. Although in the beginning the action of tragedy could also have been unlimited, like epic in the beginning, the plot of tragedy, the action of tragedy was also limitless, but later on it was limited. Of their constituent parts, some are common to both, some peculiar to tragedy. Of their constituent parts means of the ingredients. We can say the ingredients, some ingredients are common both in tragedy and epic, but there are some peculiar to tragedy, means there are some specifically limited to tragedy. Some ingredients are specifically found in tragedy, but they are not found in an epic. Whoever therefore knows what is good or bad tragedy knows also about epic poetry. Whoever means any author, any poet who can compose a good tragedy can compose a good epic also. All the elements of an epic poem are found in tragedy, but the elements of a tragedy are not all found in the epic poem. So, all the ingredients of an epic are found in tragedy. So, tragedy has all the ingredients of an epic, but an epic doesn't have all the ingredients of a tragedy. Here, the fourth chapter comes to an end. We will discuss the next chapter in our next video. Till then, thanks.